So we're going to have a look at lesson 3, and I'm going to explain what's sort of happening within that, about the raga and how we approach that, and some of the terms that are in there as well. So firstly, at the beginning we got these exercises, and these exercises are quite important. I can't remember if we went over this last time or not, but it's all to do with your right hand. So lesson 2, all of those exercises were all about your left hand and getting you to go up and down the instrument. But this time it's to do with your right hand. So I'm going to play through these exercises so you get an idea of how these sound. Just a recap on the position of how we sit, remember. The best way is like this. Sitar resting on your foot if you can do that. If not, cross-legged is absolutely fine. And so yeah, we're looking at our right hand for this, for these exercises. Make sure your mizrab's on the right way round, so if you, I don't know, you can see it. So it's upwards, and we're just going to stay on sa. So if you remember where sa is, I need to move a fret. Now I'm tuned to C sharp, so I know you guys are probably tuned to C. If you're confident with tuning, a sitar will always sound better in C sharp. But if not, just keep it in C, that's fine. So remember, sa is in between, there's this big gap here, at just about an eye level, and it's just the one above there. So sa is here. So we're just going to worry about that. Now, with your right hand technique, as I mentioned in previous lessons, it's really important to try and keep your fingers together when you're playing. My thumb stays here, that part of the sitar. So if I get in close, I'm just going to show you. So I have a pattern that goes around the back. You can see the white pattern. And then my thumb rests, turn around, here. So my thumb rests where that pattern is. So my thumb doesn't move. And this is the motion that we want. That's what we need. See how my fingers are staying together. So, let's sit properly. And look at this first exercise. So, exercise 1 is da, diri, da, ra. So, we stay on sa. Da, if you remember, is an upstroke. Diri is up, down, but double tempo. And then da again. And then ra is downstroke. So da, diri, da, ra is basically up, up, down, up, down. So I'll play it. Da, diri, da, ra, da. Now you can hear that I'm hitting the second string there as well. Which gives you a nice drone effect in the background. Some sitarists, they don't hit that second string, so it's a matter for you if you're it's a matter of your preference, if you want to or not. I think it sounds quite nice. So this is exercise 1. Da, di, da, ra, da. I'll slow it down. Da, di, da, ra. Da, di, da, ra. Da. Exercise 2. Now this is pretty complicated. So if you see da, ra, da, da, ra, da, da, ra. So up, down, up, down, up, down. Now that breaks down into groups of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So we know that 3 plus 3 equals 6, add the 2 equals 8, which gives us a pulse of 4. Da 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 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So we have to get used to the strokes because it's a bit off, throws you off. The way I look at it as in 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and every time I sound or hear 1, I come to 1, it's always an upstroke. So you go up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Da, ra, da, da, ra, da, da, ra. It's really effective. It sounds very Indian as well. That sort of pattern of 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2. So it's something to practice because your fingers will automatically want to go up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So you just got to train your right hands. Remember, all the two of your right hands. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So you've got to train that. Now, exercise 3 is almost a continuation of exercise 1. So we got 2 themes here, or paltas we can call it. But the palta just means a theme. So we have da, di, re, da, ra. Da, 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 da. And then we have 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 da, ra, da, da, ra, da, da, ra, da, ra, da, da, ra. So this exercise 3 goes da, di, re, da, ra, da, di, re, da, ra, da, di, re, da, da, ra, da, ra. So it's very difficult. The thing is, you can probably see on the PDF that you've got, when you come to exercise 3, at the end, it doesn't really make much sense. And that's because notation in Indian music is not that important. We don't really look at it. And it's very basic. So when it comes to writing out semi-complicated rhythms, it can become a bit awkward to look at. So the best way to do it is to do this by ear. This is going to be recorded, so you can listen back to it as many times as you want. Da, di, re, da, ra, da, di, re, da, ra. So that's repeated. That's exercise 1, repeated twice. Then, da, di, re, da, da, da. Da, di, re, da, da, ra, da, ra. Basically, the rule is that you have 3 strokes. You got up, down, and you got chikari stroke as well, Jake. You never go ra and chikari. Because if you do a ra stroke, see my hands all the way down here? I've got to bring it all the way up to do a chikari stroke. So that doesn't make much sense at all. So that's the golden rule. And then apart from that, it's just different phrases. If you do different patterns, you'll get different accents and different phrases. And rhythmically, it can sound quite interesting. So this one, exercise 3. Da, di, re, da, ra. Da, di, re, da, ra. Da, di, re, da, da, ra, da, ra. I'll do it again. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. I'll do it again slowly. Da, di, re, da, ra, da, di, re, da, ra, da, di, re, da, da, ra, da, ra. Okay, so those are those 3 exercises. They're really good exercises to practice because it gets your right hand going. So yeah, I'm going to leave that with you to practice, but you've got it so you can listen back to it as many times as you want. I wanted to move on to the next part of the exercise 3, where it says rag Bilawal and morning rag. So rag Bilawal isn't actually a rag as such, but it's one of the basic ones that you learn because of the notes are very well. The notes are the ones that we've learned: sa, re, ga, ma, pa, da, ni, sa, sa, ni, da, pa. So this is exactly what we've learned right at the beginning. Morning rag, because each rag that you have has to be played at a certain time of day. A rag is, as I think I said right at the beginning of the introduction, is almost like a scale that we improvise on, or a series of notes. So that's why I want to get you into position at the end of these lessons, is to be hopefully to do a bit of improvisation. So we've got sari. If you look at it, it says rag below, morning rag. It goes sari ga ma pa da ni sa. Those are the notes on the way up. On the way down, sa ni da pa ma ga re sa. Just up down, exactly the same. Vadi means most important note, and that's da. And Samvadi's second most important note is ga. A Pakard is basically a catchphrase, or rock guitarists or jazz people might call it a lick. So it's just a series of notes. And if you can see here, it's ga, 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 re, ga, pa, da, ni, sa. So it just gives you an idea of how to play around with it. But that's just information. Now, after then, it says Vilambit Gat in Teental. Slow composition in 16 beats. So Vilambit means slow, Gat means composition. More importantly, Gat refers to instrumental composition, whereas another word, bandish, means vocal composition. In Teental, it says in 16 beats. Teental is a 16 beat cycle. So, then underneath it says astai. Astai just means the middle octave, and it just means this sort of area here where we're playing. Vilambit, I said, means slow, and then after them we got this sai, and then we got these notes written out. So it goes re re ga, pa pa da, ni ni sa sa sa, sa sa da, pa pa da, pa ma ga ma. So this is the first piece of music that we're going to learn, because previously all we've done is exercises. And we would use this little piece or gut composition as a framework for improvising around. So generally speaking, you will learn a slow composition, and you might learn a fast composition in these different ragas that we're going to look at. So underneath there, I've got the strokes. Di re da, di re da, di re da, da ra, di re da, di re da, ra, da, da, ra. So let me play it. Sa, 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 da. And then back. Now, I wasn't sticking to the strokes underneath. And this time I will stick to the strokes. And I want you to have a listen to how, if I played it as it's written there, this is how it's going to sound. So it sounds mechanical, it sounds empty, and I don't particularly like the stroke pattern. So we try to make it sound a bit sweeter. So there's a number of ways of doing this. Firstly, and this is quite naughty, I teach actually, whenever I teach, even at beginner's level, I would always say this, that although you have da, ra, da, ra. Now you should play sa, re, ga, ma, pa, da, ni, sa, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Why? Because if you went up, 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 there's only so fast you could do up, 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 up. But if you went up, down, up, down, up, down, down, you can really get some speed. However, you don't have as much control on the string with a ra stroke than you do with a da stroke. So, if I do, let's get a bit closer so you can see it. A ra stroke, there's not much I can do, but if I do an upstroke, I can actually rest my mizrab on the string and roll it. So, rest my mizrab on the string and roll it off, and then let it rest on the second string. Now, why would I do this? Because I can have so much more control over dynamics, how loud or soft I want to be, and how long I want the note to be as well. So if you're at a slow tempo, it sounds nicer if you do this upstroke. And it's not, don't pluck the string, you sort of stroke the string. Literally stroke it. Keep that mizrab on your first string, let it roll off, and rest on your on the second string. So this time I'm going to play the composition doing that. So have a listen. So that automatically gives me a sweeter tone. I'll go back and do it how it's supposed to be. And I'll go. The one thing you notice is that you lose the second string. And that could be a good thing if you're playing slow stuff. Because it'll give more resonance. Now, as I said, when you're doing the exercises... always up, down, up, down, up, down. Let's get those in tune. So, the other thing that I'm going to play the composition is I'm going to add some chikari strokes in it. Because it sounds a bit empty. I'll do it again without it. Ni, sa. Sa, sa. Now, let me add these chikari strokes. So it automatically sounds sweeter. So when you're having a look at this composition, I want you to try that. I'll play it in C as well. So then you can play along to it if your sitar is tuned to C. Here we go. So then, you'll see, and look at the composition, that's Sa. The first Sa that you come across is in bold. This is because that is the first beat. So Sa, the first beat is 1. Sa, the second beat is 2. Sa, the third one is 3. The two Sas together are beat 4. Da is 5. 2 Pas, 6. Da 7. Pa 8. Ma 9. Ga 10. Ma 11. Back to the beginning. 2 Res is beat 12. Ga is 13. Pa 14. Da is 15. Nini is 16. And we're back to 1. It's a cycle. A rhythmical cycle that goes round and around. Number 1, that's at the top. Beat 1. Then when my finger is 5, the bottom is 9. And then 13. So it's just a cycle that goes round and around. This composition starts on beat 12. Now, that might seem really complicated, but it's not. It's the easiest place to start, believe it or not. But I'm going to explain that later. Because I want to explain more the fundamentals of Teental. So this time I say Madya Lay Gat in Bilawal. Madya Lay means medium tempo. So this time it's not as slow. Because if we look at that Vilambit composition, which I'll play again, and I'll count it at the same time, and you'll realise how slow it actually is. So, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and back. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 1. So it's really slow tempo. If we look at the lesson 4, and we got the Madya Lay Gat in same Bilawal. This is a medium tempo. This time, we're at this speed. Ga, chik, ga, re, ga, pa, pa, da, da, pa, da, da, pa, pa, ma, ma, ga, re, sa, sa. So this is a second composition that we're going to learn. And so, yeah, this speed is ga is so it starts on the first beat this time. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's sort of speed. So ga chik, ga re ga pa pa da da pa da da pa pa mama ga re sa sa. So I put the strokes underneath this, and actually the strokes are important on this because when it comes to playing it fast, you won't be able to do that if you're just doing upstrokes. So everything I said about that caressing the string on the when you're playing Vilambit composition and just stroking a nice gentle touch and adding the chikaris, that is only for Vilambit. When we go into this Madya Lay composition, we're going to have to go da chik, da ra da di re da ra up up down up down up down up down up down. Now these strokes, this is where the exercises you did at the beginning of lesson 3 come in, because we start to use these traditional ball, they call them ball patterns, which are just stroke patterns. That's all it means. We learn that a lot of these patterns happen in the compositions that we learn as well. You've got your two compositions, one in a slow tempo, one in a Madya Lay tempo. The Vilambit composition, I just want you to learn it as it is, get it into your head, get used to the strokes, sa chik, da chik, da chik, da chik, to get a nice sound, and really concentrate on your sounds. But leave that composition as it is. When we come to the Madya Lay composition, I want you to learn the estay that I've got written here. But we put these tans in there as well. And a tan is just a fast run. And it's a way of breaking out of the composition. So once again, we've got this cycle. I should also point out about Teental and the structure of it. Teental, as I said, is a 16-beat rhythmical cycle. And there's a way of clapping it. Why do we learn how to clap it? Just so we can understand how the rhythm is designed, how the tal or the cycle is designed. And basically, it's called Teental because Teen in Hindi means 3. So Teental means 3 rhythm. But we know, as I said, 16 beats, and I showed it in the composition. The reason is because when we clap it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, back to 1. 3 claps. Teental. Clap on the 1, clap on the 5. On 9, it's called a kali. Kali means empty, nothing. And clap on the 13. Now, I've got a tabla machine here. So, you'll hear these drums. Now, the first beat is here. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. And back to the first beat. Now, I don't know if you can hear this in Zoom, but there's a bass sound to it. And halfway through, the bass sound disappears. So we'll hear again. Bass. Back comes in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So that kali, empty section, you can hear the bass drums, it drops out. Now, why do we have this? Because if we just had the bass going all the way through, the bass drums sounding all the way through, and if we had clapping on just all the 4s, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, we might as well just do 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, because there's no change. By putting that kali in, it gives the structure to the tal. So we have to get used to not only playing these compositions, but also starting them in the right place, because these compositions are something you will play with a tabla player. So you start playing, a tabla player will be able to join in. But we can't just play the composition over and over and over again in a performance, because that would be boring. So what we do is we interject with, it could be improvised, fast runs, or fast runs that we learn. and the fast runs are called dans. Now, I've got 8-beat dans. This is 8-beat dan. 1, 2, and 3. So, if it's an 8-beat dan, and we've got a 16-beat cycle, it means that we've got to come in halfway through and start playing these dans. And also, the other thing about the dan, which makes it quite tricky, is double tempo, or whatever you're doing. So it's going to be fast. So to start halfway through, it's like we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. When I do this wave, Kali, 9. That's where you would start your 8-beat dan. 1, 2, 3. So you play the composition up to then. Ga, chik, ga, re, ga, pa, pa, da, da. That's where you would start it. Just going back slightly, I haven't played that composition. So let me play it for you so you can have a listen to it. Again, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 1, chick. So that's the composition. Look at those stroke patterns as well. Da, chick, da, ra, da, diri, da, ra, da, diri, 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 da, ra, da, ra. So we've got to make sure we get their stroke patterns correct. Then we have our dans. So we got the first one. We're just going to have a look at number 1. So if you can see, it goes sa re ga pa pa da ni sa sa ni da pa ma ga re sa. It's just basically up and down. So we need to get a bit of speed on this, and I'll put it into context. So if we play the first part of the composition, then I'm going to go into the dan and show you how this 8-beat dan works within the 16 beats. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Back. I'm just taking the second part of the composition out and replacing it with a dan. So if we look at dan number 2, ga, ma, pa, da, ni, sa, ni, da, ma, pa, da, pa, ma, ga, re, sa. So from ga, we're going to go up to sa. Down to da, ma, da, 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 da. And do it again really slowly if you want to do it by ear. So once again, I'll put that in context with the composition. Back. So you can see, you can actually start the performance like this. So I just played 2 dans there. Dan number 1, 8-beat dan number 1, and 8-beat dan number 2, and then we've got the composition. Don't forget, remember what I said about the Vilambit composition? Keep that separate. Learn it, but don't get it confused with this part on this page. So, if we did... And there you have it, a tiny little bit of a performance that gives you an idea of how we can start to fill up the space by not just playing the composition over and over again, by putting in these dans. Now, these are dans which are written out. the idea at some point will be for you to make up your own dance and to play whatever you want, as long as it's 8 beats long. I just want to recap to where we are and what you should hopefully understand at least now. Lesson 1 is da, ra, upstroke, downstroke, diri, diri, up, down. So this is where we start to use these things that we learned in lesson 1. The basic notes, sa, re, ga, ma, pa, da, ni, sa. I will always refer to them as that. And I know that maybe some of you are still struggling. Where's re and ga and ma? But I'll try and play it as well, so you can, if you can't, you just use your ear. But eventually you'll get used to what the notes are called and where they are. Exercise 1, da, ra, sa, sa, sa. Yeah, that's all exercises. Don't worry about that. Exercise 2, jala. That's using that chikari stroke. We're going to start using not only in jala, sa, cheek, 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 sa, cheek, 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 but also we can use it in the Vilambit composition to make it sound nice to fill things up. Lesson 2, that's what we did last time, and that's all using your left hand. Sa da 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 da. We went through those patterns, and they're still important to learn and keep doing because they get your fingers used to getting up and down the sitar. Remember the rule about your first finger always on the way up, second finger only on the turnaround. And then that brings us on to lesson 3. So we looked at that this time, as I said, about the right hand, da, diri, da, ra, da. Start to use different strokes, which come up in the composition actually, especially in the Madya Lay composition, the second one. And that brings us on to, I explained a bit about rag Bilawal, and about it being a morning rag, and the catchphrase, Vadi, most important note, Samvadi, second most important note, the Svai, meaning the middle octave. And then we looked at that composition, and that's what I want you to learn really this time. And then we looked at the Madya Lay composition, and also did 2 dance and said disregard that third time for the time being. And I just want to quickly talk before we finish about practice. And I know time's of the essence for everyone, and there's not much of time around. But if you could do 5 minutes a day, if you could do 10 minutes, that's great. But I think 5 minutes minimum a day, and then what you do is you think, right, okay, do you know what? I'm going to work on that Madya Lay composition. Ga, chig, ga, re, ga, pa, pa, da, da, pa, da, pa, pa, ma, ma, ga, re, sa, sa. And just go round and around and around on it until it gets into your head. And that will get your fingers to relax. That's the other thing. Make sure that you're relaxed. Don't push down too hard with your left hand, once again. And also keep those fingers together, as I mentioned right at the beginning of this session. Always keep those fingers together. It's almost like somebody's put a pin through here, and it's like that. So it's not like this, and it's not tense. It's not like a claw hand, because that would give you tendonitis. So we just need to learn to really relax and try and keep those fingers together, and make sure your thumb stays in that position at the top. Cool. Okay, so I shall stop recording this, and see you soon.